Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and Beautiful's bill just put everyone in danger, and thanks to Ridge, Brooke could pay the ultimate price. Most weeks, Bold and Beautiful kinda lopes along treading water until Friday when something big finally happens. That definitely was not the case this week, as three big stories fought for our attention, at least one of which gave us an early nominee for Dumbest Storyline of 2025. We have a lot to talk about, so let's dive in. We've talked in the past about how quickly and easily this show throws logic, and even the most basic of plot points out the window to get where it wants to go. That was definitely the case where the Bill/Luna story was concerned. Luna was behind bars for months without any indication that the other inmates had it in for her. Yet after one beating and some tears, Bill decided she was in so much danger that she needed to be released into his custody as opposed to, say, being moved to a safer facility. Or heck, couldn't Bill have used some of his endless resources to pay the guards to keep an eye on his ward? But no, the show was in such a rush to get to the next beat in this story that in a single episode, Luna was released into the custody of her backlit Jesus savior. He brought her to the mansion and said, "Hey, you can go outside and live it up, but nobody can know that you're living here." So now we're counting down to someone discovering Bill's secret house guest. Shouldn't take long, given that absolutely nobody on this show ever knocks. How long until Katie, who for a while was doing daily drop-ins, swings by? I suspect we're in for a week or two of scenes in which various people let themselves in while shouting, "Bill, are you home?" so that Luna can scurry behind the curtains. At long last, Brooke finally carved out time to do what she should have done ages ago: talk to Ridge about her true reasons for accepting the CEO position. Were Ridge a normal human being, he'd realize that Brooke was putting her love for and devotion to him above everything, including her relationship with daughter Hope. Ridge, however, is too butthurt, as my niece would say, to listen. Let's dedicate a song to Ridge, shall we? "You're So Vain" by Carly Simon seems appropriate. Yes, Brooke should have filled Ridge in on her plan before taking the CEO position, or at the very least immediately after. We spoke at length last week about how silly it was that she, or Zend, didn't fill Ridge in. We also asked why Brooke or Taylor would still be chasing after this guy, let alone both of them. But here we are, and as next week's teasers reveal, the lunkhead is about to turn all his questionable charms on Taylor, despite now knowing the truth about Brooke's actions. Yeah, he's a real keeper, ain't he? And we already know how the story ends. I'm a big fan of twists which bring two seemingly disparate plotlines together in a gloriously messy collision. While this show doesn't do that often, I have a feeling they could be setting up something along those lines. If there's one thing we know about Bold and Beautiful characters, it's that they love nothing more than to impulsively react in the most self-destructive way possible. Which means that the moment Ridge and Taylor hook up, Brooke will have no choice but to jump back into the proverbial saddle with her favorite stallion Bill. Which, of course, could put her directly in the line of fire where Luna is concerned. Because anyone who thinks her feelings for daddy-turned-crush Bill are a thing of the past wasn't paying attention to the staging of Thursday's episode. I know I can't be the only one who felt the "oh my god they're gonna kiss" vibes radiating off them. Should Brooke rebound into Bill's arms, it's not hard to imagine Luna's jealousy spiraling out of control. Next thing you know, she's shopping in the easy-to-construct cage section of IKEA. Or maybe she discovers that long-forgotten by the writers sex chamber Bill had constructed years ago and locks Brooke in there. The third story fighting for our attention this week was the one in which Remy chased Elektra through the abandoned streets of Los Angeles. The most unintentionally hilarious moment was when a construction worker wandered into view in the background. Why in the world did Elektra go running hither and thither, as opposed to simply going to the restaurant above which Remy's apartment is located? This is clearly a rhetorical question, as it was obviously done for dramatic purposes. But it was yet another situation in which absolutely no logic was involved in the storytelling process. It would have felt strange to suddenly have the characters wandering around in the real world. But Bold and Beautiful does such a great job with establishing shots and casual forays outside that it didn't seem at all jarring. The scenes were well directed by supervising producer Casey Kasperdick, the spelling of whose name I still have to look up every time, even all these years later, giving the sequence an excitement it wouldn't have had on a soundstage. Unfortunately, things came to a complete standstill whenever the show cut to Ivy and Katie having endless conversations about the dangers of artificial intelligence and deep fakes. The dialogue in these scenes was about as unnatural as it gets, and repeating it over and over again didn't help matters. I love that last week, Bridget was home for the holidays. In real life, people do pop in for special occasions. But it might have been nice if she'd stuck around, given all the drama unfolding around her mom and aunts. And not for nothing, but she is the mother of a potential rival for Elektra's affections. Speaking of vanishing acts, I guess we're just never going to mention RJ again, and hope the audience doesn't notice his absence. That sure seems to be the case, given that he and portrayer Joshua Hoffman are no longer in the opening credits. He's not the only one. I'm not sure what the point of the Will/Remy/Elektra story was. Given that Remy escaped so that Will could make out with his girlfriend, I assume maybe there's more to come. Otherwise, what was the rush, especially given that all three of the characters are new to the canvas, and we weren't terribly invested in them? Was that the point? To get us further invested in Will and Elektra? Perhaps, although honestly, I love their portrayers and would just as soon watch them go on dates and get to know one another. The tension on the Bold and the Beautiful has reached a fever pitch as Bill Spencer's recent actions send shockwaves through the lives of the Forrester and Logan families. In a dramatic turn of events, Bill has once again proven that he is willing to go to any length to secure what he wants, no matter who gets hurt in the process. But this time, the stakes are higher than ever, and thanks to Ridge Forrester's interference, Brooke Logan might end up paying the ultimate price. It all started with Bill's desperation. Bill has never been a man known for his humility or caution, and in his ongoing battle for control of his empire, he is willing to take risks that most people would shy away from. Recently, Bill made a bold move that could alter the course of several lives forever. In an effort to force Ridge and Brooke into a position of vulnerability, Bill launched a risky plan that involves manipulating certain people in key positions, though he failed to realize how far-reaching the consequences of his actions would be. From the outset, Ridge, Brooke, and Bill have had an unstable relationship. The three have found themselves caught in a web of love, betrayal, and ambition over the years, but Bill's recent decision to get involved in a dangerous game has taken things to a new level. Bill's intentions have never been purely innocent, but this time, he has taken things to extremes that might be impossible to undo. The issue at the heart of the crisis is Bill's attempt to weaken Ridge's standing in the company and in Brooke's life. He has used manipulation and deceit to undermine Ridge, and while Ridge is no stranger to Bill's scheming, this latest plot could have irreversible consequences. What Bill doesn't realize, however, is how intertwined his fate is with Ridge and Brooke, and how his actions may set off a chain of events that could hurt them all. While Bill's actions are dangerous, the real twist comes from Ridge's response. Ridge, ever the protector, has always been someone who stands by his family, especially Brooke. But in his latest attempt to shield her from Bill's machinations, Ridge may have made an unforgivable error. Ridge's emotional decisions and impulsive nature, usually a strength, have now backfired, putting Brooke in a perilous situation that she may not be able to escape from. Brooke, the woman at the center of the storm, finds herself caught in a tug-of-war between two powerful men. Bill, with his deep-seated need for control and obsession with Brooke, and Ridge, who is unable to fully let go of his long-standing feelings for her. Ridge's protective instincts lead him to make bold moves in response to Bill's threats, but his interference could prove to be more harmful than helpful. In his effort to protect Brooke, Ridge has inadvertently put her in harm's way, as Bill's retaliation is swift. The ultimate price that Brooke could pay is more than just emotional. Bill's intentions are not just to wound Ridge, but to destroy everything Brooke holds dear. Bill's pursuit of revenge could lead to the collapse of Brooke's family, her career, and her relationship with Ridge. The stakes are so high that there is no guarantee that Brooke will emerge unscathed from the chaos that Bill's schemes have unleashed. What's even more alarming is the depth of Bill's determination. He has always been a man driven by power, but in this instance, his obsession with Brooke and his desire to destroy Ridge have blinded him to the potential fallout. Bill's machinations have put everyone, including those who are closest to him, at risk. If his plan backfires, it could have catastrophic consequences for not just the Logan and Forrester families, but also the future of Spencer Publications. Bill's actions have made it clear that nothing, not even the love of his family, is more important to him than winning. At the same time, Ridge is grappling with his own vulnerabilities. While his impulse to protect Brooke is noble, it has clouded his judgment. His reactionary actions have already created more problems than they have solved, and now, as Bill steps up the pressure, Ridge may find himself with no choice but to make an even more drastic move. If Ridge is not careful, he risks losing everything: Brooke's trust, his family's respect, and perhaps even his own sense of self. For Brooke, the stakes are unbearable. She finds herself torn between two men who each claim to have her best interests at heart, but are ultimately pulling her in opposite directions. Ridge, who wants to protect her, and Bill, who seeks to control her. But in the middle of this power struggle, Brooke realizes that her ultimate safety may not lie with either man. Instead, it may require her to take control of her own destiny and make decisions that could alienate both men for the sake of her own future. The drama is far from over. Bill is not the kind of man to let things go, and Ridge's interference has made the situation even more volatile. What happens next will determine the future of the Forrester and Logan families, as well as the fate of Brooke and the men who love her. As Bill's plan continues to unfold and Ridge tries to protect his family, it becomes clear that the cost of their actions could be more than any of them can bear. In the end, it may be Brooke who is forced to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to ensure that those she loves do not fall victim to the dangerous game that Bill has started. But will she be able to escape the fallout? Will Ridge realize his mistake in time, or will his protective nature lead to his own downfall? And what of Bill? Will he finally achieve his ultimate goal, or will his obsession with Brooke and Ridge leave him with nothing at all? The only certainty is that nothing will ever be the same again, and the consequences of Bill's actions, compounded by Ridge's interference, will reverberate through the Forrester and Logan families for years to come. The Bold and the Beautiful has always been known for its intense, high-stakes drama, but this latest twist promises to raise the stakes even higher, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats as the ultimate price is paid.